If you've been wanting to get your hands on a Brinkley, but it was just a little bit too much for your vehicle, good news. They have just come out with their smallest, lightest model yet, and you're going to get your first full walkthrough tour here today. Welcome, everybody. Josh RV Nerd of Bish's RV back down here in the Brinkley Infinity Dream Room with actually a couple new members of the Model I family. Today, we're going to take a look at the smallest thing they've made yet, the new Model I X20X. So there's two segments of the Model I family that have been born recently. There's the full Model I, then there's this one right here, the Model I X. This is a little smaller, a little lighter, and a little easier on the price tag. This floor plan right here is just a rock solid, rock star, proven floor plan within the industry. There's plenty of builders who make something like this, but in typical Brinkley format, they don't quite make it like this. They've created their own Murphy bed setup in the front, and it might get the vote for my new favorite best Murphy bed system out there. I'll show you how it works. We'll dive into all of that. But what's cool about this floor plan is that it's something that most half tons are going to be able to handle just fine. We've got the better Hankook radial tires on here. You have a choice between a buckskin colored, kind of like leatherette sort of touch theater seat or the cloth touch hide-a-bed that we're looking at today. So you have a choice between a couple different seating arrangements. But what's awesome about this is in a sense, you don't necessarily have to choose all of the seating. In a small floor plan like this, you normally have to make sacrifices. But with their hideaway dining desk that's included with this, by default, I just have some nice wide open kitchen counter space. Or I could have a solo desk area or a little couple's dining arrangement. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a mega 4-person dining, but this is not a mega 4-person camper. It's made for you and me and maybe the puppy cat or whatever you happen to have with you right here. They've stuck with all the things that they could from the Model I series, of course, on the way through, like the bigger XL vent fans. You'll find a couple of those through this right here. The nicer shower, all the nicer fixtures, the painted aluminum skin. That's a major deal that we're going to talk about and more as we go through. So as we're cruising through this thing, let me know what you like, what you don't. Let's get started. This floor plan is one of those that, like, I never know where to begin. So I think I'm just going to kind of give you a little bit of a soft kind of half spin around, do a little turn on the catwalk, hey, as Fred said, right? Anyway. And then we'll start opening things up. I'm going to show you how the Murphy bed works on this one because they came up with a little different Murphy bed system here. I have to play with it a little bit more. I think it might be my new favorite Murphy bed, and I have preferred the Rockwood style Murphy bed for a very long time. There's some benefits to this. It's got a couple little but for the most part, I think it might be the most functional Murphy system out there. Anyway, you from the sofa right here, I mean, the entertainment, the campsite viewing, obviously we've got the building kind of blacked out a little bit right now. But look at the windows. Just like when you are sitting down at eye level, it's just nonstop windows on the campsite of the RV. But with their graphics package outside, I don't know that you normally overtly just notice that. Now, the iX series is 30 amp, not 50 like the bigger I's and Z's. And this is small enough, I don't believe they offer a second air, but it's also small enough that I think the one air system they have and their insulation package probably going to pretty much do the job. I'm going to teach you how to fish here real quick. With their window treatments, if you see only a night blackout shade, then that is not a breeze window. Of course, this would be one example of where this is not true. Normally, if it's a breeze window like this, it would have a day and night shade, but I guess that's small enough it doesn't. So anyway, there you go. So as we're walking around the RV and you see stuff, that'll try to give you a little bit of an idea. There have been some folks, and this is not a criticism of the people critiquing the videos. There have been some folks who have said that they just don't like this decor. They just don't necessarily prefer it. It's a decor that is intentionally light, bright, especially since this is their smallest RV. They wanted light colors to help open up the sensory of it. But it's also a decor that very quickly comes to life the moment you start putting any sort of like pillows or throw blankets or anything like that. Now, this is the optional trifold sofa. The trifold sleeper sofa is cloth touch. The theater seat will have that buckskin color like the I guess it's not a jackknife. It's a rollover sofa in the front right here. But that's the thing. The goal of this floor plan is to give you what's crazy is not just the seating and the flexibility of a super slide RV. Because of their fold out dining desk, this is a model that actually gives you the seating and flexibility of like a 35-foot opposing slide kind of camper. So I told you they came up with an all new Murphy bed system. Check this out. Brinkley, bed, down. Isn't that crazy? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's not how it works at all. Now, to be able to get this Murphy bed footage for you, I did have to take us over the realm of like 0.5 fisheye lens mode. So everything is going to be skewed slightly, but using my body as a reference, you can see that we're like 2 adults and maybe a dog or something like that. 2 adults and a green baby or something. You've got room here, or 2 adults can kind of stretch out and lounge and be comfy. But again, they kind of did a slightly different Murphy bed here. It's not a massive departure from anything else you've seen. Like, you've got this rollover sofa here. I also really appreciate how they've completely closed this off. You're not like looking at the top of bedding or anything like that. Like, you get all the normal bed storage. I'll give you a second segment with this all opened up. But like, I was looking at this and it's locked rock solid in here. And I couldn't figure out how to get it open. And I accidentally stumbled into that. There's a foot switch over here to release it. And there you go. Wow. But here's the thing. This is not a folding hinge mattress. It's just taking a mattress and bending it. So that could mean that you could develop a little bit of a crease in this. But it also means you have a vastly improved capacity of actually replacing this with something that feels better to you, or at least adding a foam topper for your back or something like that. And most Murphy beds do not offer that kind of ease and or convenience. A lot of Murphy beds are just not awesome. Now, apologies if my socks are dirty, because I take my shoes off to do these demos all the time. My socks get dirty. Here's the thing. It is technically a little bit of a short bed, but not by much. It's 78 inches long, not 80. So it's 4 inches long than a normal princess camp queen. It's 2 inches shorter than a residential queen. If you're willing to fight with it a little bit, I think if you get a residential true queen, you could probably just squish it under these cabinets. Might take a little bit of doing, but I think you could do it. Now, you might have noticed also, they've got the headboard power pockets back here. There is a set of household and USB outlets back in this corner. We got the book with the spectacles here. One of my favorite things to do is I walk around the displays and just kind of stare at people like this, and they just look at me funny. But that's just a thing that I do for fun. I have an odd sense of humor, obviously. Now, one of the things I was curious about, because this is a thicker, heavier mattress, and if you want to put a big, thick, heavy residential mattress on it, how does this work? First of all, because the headboard area of the bed never moves, if you need to you can leave your pillows up there, or you could use it like an enclosed, protected cargo space in transit. But there's a strut lift assist. Look at this. This isn't bedspreads. This is the mattress. The mattress does not suck. But there's a recoil system. Like, I can do this with one chicken arm. This is not hard. This, you roll it over, flip it, and reverse it. Flip it down, go to town. One of the only things I could see somebody critiquing this area about it, like, if you don't like a Murphy bed, yeah, I get it. You don't like this floor plan. That's fine. They have other models, the 235, the 265, things like that. But there is nowhere up here to hide a heat duct other than just right there in the floor. This is one of the only Brinkley models that's going to have a heat vent somewhere right in your main living area. But it's like not in the direct walking path. I think you're going to be all right. So if the Burt Reynolds Playboy Centerfold Murphy bed demo is useful for you, leave me a little note that says, hey, thanks, or click the like button on the video. It's a lot of extra time and effort, and I'm happy to do it. I really am. But it takes a lot. So if you could scratch my back while I'm scratching yours and help spread the message by just offering a comment or a little click, I'd really appreciate it. Anyway. I kind of forgot to talk about the power outlets down there because you do have outlets kind of behind the headboard area. They built a pantry right over here into the slide. They are typically very good about putting, yep, they always have a way of finding a way to put some power outlets like in a pantry space somewhere. You may notice, obviously, the soft close, hidden hinges, magnet holdbacks. They've maintained their dovetail drawer construction here, even though this is their smallest, simplest RV. Essentially, they have all their, they make a lot of different products, but their factories are all kind of set up the same way. So it's almost easier for them to just keep doing what the big fancy guys do rather than change it on a smaller RV. They're also really good about putting the little bumpers anywhere that something's going to make contact. I'm being nitpicky. I don't personally love that blank panel right there just because it's slightly more difficult to get to some of that storage. But in an RV this size where I don't have to crawl all the way over the bed to get to it, I don't know that it's as much of an issue. It's just more of a personal kind of thing. Anyway, working our way around here. Under the sofa, there's storage, but you don't have to lift it to get to it. This just comes right to you. And when the Murphy bed's deployed, I should have showed you this, you can still get to those. That's another really cool thing. They're somewhat obscured, but you can still essentially get to it. Over here, this you might notice this funny little box thing. What they did is instead of hardwiring, speaker cable throughout the RV, they gave you this guy right here. You've got this super hard shell, rugged, portable Bluetooth speaker system right here. Of course, if I was paying attention, I would have realized I didn't actually have it on camera that whole time. I'm so sorry. Anyway, this guy, and it is like, you could defend yourself from a gas station murder hobo what come to get you with that thing right there. Like, it could knock somebody right out, but it also has its own personal little mounting bracket. It's not a charge station, just handy little mounting bracket. You might notice the TV is slightly jihad right now, technical term. You absolutely can pivot that TV around to be mostly visible from the better sofa. And just to really drive that home, I cranked that sucker as much as I could. And let me get over here on the couch. I mean, it pretty much directly faces the couch and the bed. I'm not mad at it. I'm pretty happy about that. Anyway, moving our way out. One of the things you haven't seen, other than a quick little flyby, is a dining solution. Well, that's what's kind of cool about this one. It's there if you want it, gone if you don't. It comes with a pair of these little fold-away chairs that you can stuff in a bunch of different places in the camper. They're small enough I actually found I could stuff them in the vertical hanging wardrobe cabinets or in the front pass-through or something like that. If you put both chairs on this front side, they'll fit, but you're definitely bumping elbows. I kind of personally like it sort of one on each side like this. You can't necessarily go straight face to face because the kitchen counter will kind of be in the way. They also have maintained this cool little, like, whether it's remote controls, I guess maybe you could use it for like utensils or something like that. But they have, they've just found every little area, every little nook and cranny they could. And this thing, you just pull it open, you push it shut. There's like nothing special to it. And again, if my little arms can do it, so can you. And depending on when it's open like that, you don't really cut the camper off. Yeah, you definitely would have to potentially walk around a person, but you can still get through it. It doesn't stop you from using the RV. That is an 18,000 BTU Furrion Chill Cube, by the way. One of the best parts about there's actually a lot of great parts about these. There's a reason Brinkley was one of the first adopters and has continued to expand their use of those. They're crazy energy efficient. They're very good. If you have to driveway mooch dock off somebody, if you only have 15 amp household power available, you can still run that air normally, which is very, very cool. Trifold hide-to-bed option, remember. By default, I think you actually have the theater seat. I think we're looking at an optional sleeper sofa. If not, it's one or the other. You can get either one you want. But those chill cubes also, when they're running, they don't necessarily turn totally off. They just go down to sort of a cruising mode so that your RV doesn't get hot and cold and hot and cold and hot and cold. It just kind of, once it hits the temp you want, it just sort of stays there and the unit gets much quieter. Now, the kitchen for my purposes is kind of tight recording space, so I'm gonna do the best I can to kind of show you around to get to everything. But they threw some shelving in all of this pocket screwed lumber core cabinetry here, which kind of doubles your coffee cup space. As we work our way down, again, just crazy window coverage everywhere. I do want to note the IX that we are in does use thermofoil countertops, whereas the full I will use solid surface. Either series will have this handy little toe kick in your like primary kitchen areas, and this is still dishwasher prepped even under that sink. I can't quite get a good angle on it, but there is even a set of power outlets down there for you if you feel like adding an RV dishwasher. You could kill that lower cabinet. This drawer right here, like ever since the very first Model Z, this is like one of their signature kind of features where you have the removable paper towel spindle, and it's like a drawer in a drawer with your wastebasket space. That little pocket there is for like your extra wastebasket bags. Can you tell someone who actually camps had half a brain putting this thing together? Like just everyday smarter user features and functions. Now, this is a nicer stovetop. It's also a sealed burner stove. It's a lot easier to clean. It is a bit of a countertop space hog, though, so just trying to be fair about that, but you have 3 higher output burners as a result. The microwave above it is actually a range heat exhausting vent hood. That creates this pocket back here, which is going to be kind of appliance country. You can see that there's a set of power outlets up there. Because they went with a little bit bigger overhead cabinets, there's not a massive gap between the countertop level and those outlets, but I know ideally people do tend to prefer wall-mounted outlets, but on an 1.5-inch laminated wall, it's not quite possible. This rear corner is a little bit tricky to get back to. You might want some long arms or a storage solution or something like that. Even at my size, the very back of that would be slightly tricky. Let me get some of these closed. What is kind of cool about this, though, is they put this like double swinging door in there to make it a little bit easier to get to. One of the things with a smaller RV, when they refuse to sacrifice larger appliances, is it bulks up the space quite a bit, like this big residential sized 3-way convection electric air fryer type oven. Notice too, every little nook, cranny, and pocket they utilized. Even if it's awkward to get to, it's not wasted. But like the flip open door right there, the way that it holds itself. Also, in both the bathroom and here in the kitchen area, you get those larger vent fans. They just don't do the 4-inch dollar store fart fans anywhere in these things. As we were going through, I don't know if you spotted the drawers, but a couple of very nice utensil drawers there as well. Very modern lower chest style 12-volt compressor fridge and freezer right here. This is going to be one of those things that if you're camping in those really hot climates, it will make it so that you can keep ice cream you scoop instead of ice cream soup. And I want to teach you how to fish. If you're ever not sure what size these are, if you look up here, find the model number, and there will be like a double-digit number and then DC. So this is a 10 DC. This is a 10 cubic foot 12-volt compressor fridge. There's also the words very directly, easily written on there that says 10.7 cubic foot 12-volt compressor fridge that I literally just saw. After all the time that I've done this, I've always decoded the model number, and it was just spelled out for me because I'm an idiot. But I never claimed to be smart. Anyway, sliding. Ooh, that was loud. I am sorry. Sliding pocket privacy door here actually has a normal holdback, but then this extra little tab just to make sure it's not going anywhere in transit. It's a screw and a piece of plastic, but it could save this RV from getting damaged. So it's not what it costs to be, it's what it's worth. And that right there, that's worth a little bit of appreciation from me anyway. Under the sink right here, small space for maybe a small wastebasket or something like that. They were able to keep the heat vent out of the floor back here in the bathroom. And again, even though this is the smallest, simplest, least expensive thing they make, they still put a very nice fiberglass molded like luxury fifth wheel shower in here. Now, with these having a more conventional 6.5-foot ceiling height, they did maintain the use of a traditional skylight. which if you look on the right side of the screen, you can kind of understand why, because it sort of helps big, tall goofballs like me fit in there. What that means when we go outside, this RV will actually have a roof access ladder mounted on the side of the RV, not the back. So when you climb up, you're not stepping on the skylight. Just another way to see that XL vent fan. You're looking at the big balding major blueberry body defect in this mega mirror here. It is just a mirror on the wall, but you're going to see in a second. I don't think storage is really a problem in here. Space around the toilet, I think they executed very nicely. It's a porcelain bowl, by the way. You remember these little coat hanger things that can pop down that we saw sort of in the hallway? They have another couple of them over here. My only concern with that is if that's down, you might potentially jab that door, but actually it was just folding this up. So I don't know, it might be okay. Might be all right. I think that could work. Decent linen space in here. That is your controller, by the way, for the tankless water heater. Brinkley is very big about not letting you see mechanical fasteners. Like, you don't see the typical RV industry machine gun line of staples. You don't see like a lot of screw heads or anything. Like, you have to look at that vent up there. That's like some of the only screw head fasteners you can actually spot. Making a prediction here, when the slide closes, I don't think we're going to be able to use the bed, but we'll be able to function everything else pretty much. Yeah, that is absolutely the case here. I think the goal here is, because they went with a Murphy bed, they wanted to make this as short for traveling as they could. But that means that the bed's not going to be functional in transit because you can't roll that sofa over. So if that's a critical problem for you, take a look at things like the 23X. That will give you a walk-around queen bed that is never not accessible. The RV's a little bit longer. It's about 27 feet, whereas this is like 24 feet. So the goal here with this floor plan is saving you 3 feet, which actually saves a big chunk of weight and a surprising amount of cost, typically. But short of that, we could always pop open the dining. We can get to all of the kitchen. We can get to the bathroom. So this is really excellent for travel stops. But if you're looking for a travel stayover, you are going to need to pop that slide open. So if that's useful for you, if you're new with us, hit that subscribe button, because this is something that I try to do for you every time on every video, provided the RV has a slide anyway. All right, now in terms of towing and going, I think it's reasonable to call this one commonly half-ton towable. There's always going to be certain examples of half-tons or towing scenarios where maybe something won't work, but 7,400-pound maximum GVW, and the length of this thing, the tandem axles, I just feel like most half-tons are going to yank it around, and I think that's something a lot of people have been waiting for. I think there's a lot of people who would really like to put their hands on a Brinkley, but not everybody has a 1-ton dually or a gravedigger monster truck to tow stuff around. Now they with the introduction of the Model iX, they did something here that I think makes a lot of sense. The Model iX has an extra thick painted aluminum nose sweep, and we're going to be talking a lot about painted aluminum in a second. The full or upgrade, whatever you want to call it, the larger full Model I series, they've added this 3/4 nose cap, and obviously you see that gorgeous front windshield inset into that. So it is now very easy at a glance to see which member of the family you're looking at. And keep in mind, when you see information like that in this video, it will supersede anything I've put out in previous videos. So like if you look at a Model I 265 video, that's what they're going to be doing, the nose cap with the windshield today. Where do we want to begin here? Let's start right up front. We, of course, have the magnet holdbacks, the slam latches, a very generously sized, good size front pass-through. The full Model I will actually have a drop frame. So there's actually a list of like 20 differences between them. Let me ask you, would it be helpful for you if I made a video just listing out the differences between Model I
and the IX sub-series. If that's something you'd like me to do, leave me a note. I can crank that out probably pretty quick and easy. Like, these are still enclosed and heated. They don't have, they still have the nicer tires. They still have the composite easy lift steps. They don't have quite the, like the braking package with the dynamic brake boost and whatnot, but they do still have, like, they're still running better than almost anybody else in travel trailers with their Road Armor suspension package here. There's still more, consideration on the ride and handling package. Let's talk some construction things, because at a glance, you've seen floor plans like this before, but not necessarily built like this. You just assume, if you didn't know, it just kind of looks like fiberglass. The exterior skin there is actually a painted aluminum. Now, it is still a laminated wall. They still have the Asdel composite substrate below that exterior skin. But the thing is, if you think about it, if you go to like the used RV market, find like a fifth wheel or a motorhome with a paint package that's like 10, 12 years old, and it still looks almost new because the paint holds up so much better against weathering. Well, that's exactly what's going to happen on this trailer. It's going to have that kind of superior weather resistance as opposed to just a conventional fiberglass. And something happens, there you can just do normal RV body shop bodywork fixes on this. You might have noticed that one beam glow lighting down here. It's called fusion lighting. And especially right now that we're in kind of a low light scenario, kind of almost simulating like a little bit of a campsite twilight kind of scenario, it casts a lot of light over here. Now, to be fair, there are some overhead lights casting light against the side of this RV, but a lot of that is the awning lighting. The roof is fully walkable. You've got your 200-watt solar package up there. You don't see a ladder on the back. You will get a ladder, though. Give me just a moment. Real quick, though. We have our gas grill quick connect down here in case you want to bring a grill or a griddle. And if you don't, you didn't have to give up a big old chunk of space for a camp kitchen that some people care about and some people don't. This is also really smart design. If you think about the layout of this RV, in this rear corner, we have all of that kitchen counter space. But in this little hutch area, there would be like no way for you to get down here to get to any storage under it. So that's where they put this on-demand water heater and their furnace right next to it. And that is a 60,000 BTU water heater, which what that means is when you are spring and fall camping, you can actually still enjoy a hot shower, because the lighter duty tankless heaters work fine in the summertime. They ain't made for when it's getting quite as cold, though. And it is very dark in here. Give me a moment. Let me bump a button. I'll turn on the light on my camera. There we go. So that when we are over here in the little dark space, you can see things like that handy receiver hitch. I like the double taillights. I would like it if they were mounted up a little bit higher, but I'm always kind of snobbish like that. Like if even one of the second lights was over in this area, my only fear is like if you have something like a big old bike rack on that rear hitch, I don't want you to obscure your brake lights. Now, they kind of went almost like with a toy hauler ladder on this one. And you might go, why did they put the ladder over here? Think about what's inside the RV in this rear corner. That's your bathroom. On the very back corner is a shower. You don't want to necessarily like try to climb over, I don't know, like skylights and shower stuff, and potentially trip yourself up. So they just avoided that challenge here. This is conveniently enough a singular sewer monster, so you don't need to do the poop scoop boogie to hook up all kinds of different things right here, although you do have a stinky slinky handy helper tube up there to keep all that stowed away. This is a straight in out slide. This is not a rack and pinion, so they went with their, at this point, I think pretty solidly proven slim rack system. I mean, they're using that on some of their bigger, heavier like bed slides up in the large fifth wheels. So I feel pretty confidently like it's gonna probably do the job right here. We are a little closer than I would prefer to get you, but with being back here in the corner of the building, my maneuverability options are somewhat limited. Good news, we're getting kind of close to wrapping this up here. We of course have the docking center, which you'll find across all the Brinkleys, but They have not scaled back on their plumbing here just because they went to their smallest, lightest, least expensive kind of trailer. If I get you in here, you're going to see a couple things. You will never see a flex hose with a PEX crimping. You'll also see the brass fittings wherever they reasonably could, which is basically everywhere. Also, you notice how you're not seeing any sawdust or anything in here? That's not because this is a show unit. If you watch my factory video tours, unlike a lot of RV brands in the industry, they literally actively vacuum out everything as they're installing stuff. So you don't have that, like, it doesn't look like a termite got a hold of your, your RV inside. Their little coupler system up here is a little different. I don't have any experience with it. I don't know if it's better. I don't know if it's just different. It does look kind of bulky, but it might work just the same. Previously, the iX series, they had kind of a black graphic on the nose. I think it was sort of there to sort of simulate the look of a windshield, because previously the big brother Model I has that big windshield. And again, now with the nose cap and everything, I think they wanted to just really make it clear what series you're looking at and not do something that only kind of looked the part. They just wanted it to be what it is and be, be right.
So thanks again for tuning in, everybody. I'm not sure at the time that I'm recording this when these should be rolling out into dealer lots. I am getting early advance footage of this here, but if you jump over to our website, you should have the ability to find at least an idea of MSRP. Typically, we're not able to publish anything but MSRP on our website. I would like to just say, here's the price tag, but we don't have that ability. And also, as early as this is, I don't have that information available to me. But if you contact our team, we can certainly get you a discounted price tag available. And in the meantime, let me know what you think. I will also leave you a bunch of links to some other Brinkley models. Like, if you like this, but you're like, yeah, I need a little bit bigger, a little bit more, they have some very sweet options for you. So hit that subscribe button to catch the next one that's coming out, because we are not done. They have more new models down here right now than I have ever seen before. So there is some exciting, fun stuff coming. But until then, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.